Hey guys, welcome back to the channel where I cover missing persons, unsolved cases, crime news, and more. We have some potentially bad news in the case against Alexee Trevizo. Now, she's supposed to go for pre-trial on July 22nd, and her trial is currently set for August 26th, 2024. But her attorney, Gary Mitchell, he filed a few months ago, he filed a motion to suppress for all the videos and all that sort of stuff that was taken at the hospital during the night that she murdered, and yes, my opinion, she murdered her sweet baby. And I can tell you, spoiler alert, it was approved by the judge. So let me just read a bit of it. And again, this is very disappointing for the state, and I'm hoping they have a lot more. But all the stuff that we've seen involve the cop coming into the room, the doctor speaking to her, all that stuff is gone. Okay? In a nutshell, it's all gone. So, exercise of privilege, motion to suppress, motion for protective order, and a Pena versus Espinoza procedure determination. Comes now the defendant, Alexee J. Trevizo, and through her attorney, Gary C. Mitchell, give notice of privilege, moves to suppress all evidence in violation of her doctor-patient privilege. And that's NMRA Rule 11-504, as amended December 15th, 2022 privilege, that the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996, otherwise known as HIPPA, more commonly known as HIPPA, goes on to state the 42 USCA, all the numbers, right to privacy, and the right of medical records privacy as set forth in NMSA 1978. She also moves to suppress all statements taken in violation of her constitutional rights pursuant to the Constitution of New Mexico and the United States, specifically taken in violation of the mandates set forth in Miranda versus Arizona. She moves for a protective order and for a Pena versus Espinoza procedure determination, and grounds therefore states: Number 1, on January 26, 2023, Alexee J. Trevizo, herein known as Alexee, age 19, and a senior at Artesia High School, attended Artesia High School and then Artesia High School cheer practice for over 3 hours. Number 2, on January 26, 2023, around 23:47 hours, she woke her mother, advising her she had tremendous pain in her lower back. She was taken to the only hospital in Artesia, New Mexico, which is the Artesia General Hospital. On January 27th, 2023, she was seen in the emergency room of Artesia General Hospital, located at 702 North 13th Street in Artesia, New Mexico, 88-10 at 003 hours. 4. Artesia General Hospital claims on its website to be a community-based, not-for-profit organization based on a special hospital district board, governed by a board of directors and owned by the citizens of the Artesia Special Hospital District as created by the Act of New Mexico Legislature. 5. The attending ER physician was Dr. Heather A. Marshall Vasquez, and she is the one that they are really going after. Number 6. Artesia General Hospital, its personnel, its staff, its nurses, and Dr. Marshall Vasquez are all covered and subject to NMRA Rule 11-504 as amended December 15th, 2022, the HIPPA Act of 1996. And number 7, Dr. Colin Berry, a subsequent treating physician, is an obstetrician gynecologist affiliated with Loveless Regional Hospital Roswell, located in Roswell, Chavez County, New Mexico. Number 8, Artesia General Hospital, its personnel, its staff, its nurses, and Dr. Marshall Vasquez, Dr. Colin Berry, and Lovelace Regional Hospital Roswell have violated the requirements of NMRA Rule 11-504 as amended December 15, 2022, and the HIPPA Act. So basically they are saying that they have violated HIPAA. Goes on, number 9. A complaint has been filed as required by HIPAA with Artesia General Hospital, Lovelace Regional Hospital Roswell, and the Attorney General of the State of New Mexico, and with the United States Department of Health and Human Services. Number 10 goes into what Rule 11504 provides. Rule 11504, physician, patient, and psychotherapist patient privilege. Okay, a definitions for purpose of this rule. A patient is a person who consults with or is examined by a physician, psychotherapist, or state or nationally licensed mental health therapist. A physician is a person authorized to practice medicine in any state or nation or reasonably believed by the patient to be so licensed. A psychotherapist is a person engaged in the diagnosis or treatment of a mental or emotional condition, including drug addiction, and who is a physician or a person licensed or certified as a psychologist under the laws of any state or nation or reasonably believed by the patient to be so licensed and certified. A state or nationally licensed mental health therapist is a person licensed or certified to provide counseling services as a social worker, marriage or family therapist, or other mental health counselor, and a communication is confidential if made privately and not intended for further disclosure except to other persons in furtherance of the purpose of the communication. B. Scope of privilege. A patient has a privilege to refuse to disclose or prevent any other person from disclosing a confidential communication made for the purpose of diagnosis or treatment of the patient's physical, mental, or emotional condition, including drug addiction, between the patient and the patient's physician, psychotherapist, or state or nationally licensed mental health therapist. C. Who may claim the privilege? The privilege may be claimed by the patient's guardian or conservator, or the personal representative of the deceased patient. The privilege may be asserted on the patient's behalf by the patient's physician, the patient's psychotherapist, the patient's state or nationally licensed mental health therapist, or any other person included in the communication to further the patient's interests, including individuals participating under the direction of the patient's physician, psychotherapist, or state or nationally licensed mental health therapist. 3. Authority to claim the privilege is presumed absent evidence to the contrary. D. Exceptions. Proceedings for hospitalization. If a physician, psychotherapist, or state nationally licensed mental health therapist has determined that a patient must be hospitalized due to mental illness or presents a danger to himself or others, no privilege shall apply to confidential communications relevant to the proceedings to hospitalize the patient. By order of the court, unless the court orders otherwise, any communications made by an individual during an examination of that individual's physical, mental, or emotional condition that has been ordered by the court are not privileged. Elements of a claim or defense. If a patient relies on a physical, mental, or emotional condition as part of a claim or defense, no privilege shall apply concerning confidential communications made relevant to that condition. After a patient's death, should any party rely on a patient's physical, mental, or emotional condition as part of a claim or defense, no privilege shall apply for confidential communications made relevant to that condition. Required reports. No privilege shall apply for confidential communications concerning any material that a physician, psychotherapist, state or nationally licensed mental health therapist, or patient is required by law to report to a public employee or public agency. Now, goes on to say number 11, the HIPAA violation categories are administrative violations, civil violations, and criminal violations. An example of an administrative violation would be to use the wrong codes on a claim transaction, while an example of a civil HIPAA violation would be to deny a patient access to a copy of their protected health information. Data breaches also fall into the category of civil HIPAA violations. A criminal HIPAA violation when a covered entity, business associate, or a member of either's workforce has wrongfully and knowingly accessed, obtained, or transmitted protected health information without authorization for a purpose prohibited by and has the statute of the Social Security Act. Criminal violations of HIPAA can incur substantial fines and jail sentences. So basically, they're saying that the hospital violated Alexee's HIPAA rights. And yeah, that's going to suck for the state right now. Further, it says Alexee Trevizo is age 19 and gave no consent to disclose her medical records, videotape. Artesia actually films portions of its ER rooms and of the traffic in the ER rooms. Lab tests, lab reports, videos, pictures, personal identifiers, birth date, telephone numbers, social security numbers, address, or any other records. She did not consent to her doctors or any of the staff disclosing her confidential information or to the Artesia Police Department disclosing it to the public. Sadly, all have. The state of New Mexico, and in particular the Artesia Police Department, without consent, without benefit of subpoena or court order, without benefit of protective orders, obtained all her medical records to include videotapes, medical records, nurses' notes, doctors' notes, lab reports, etc., and conducted interviews without the consent of both of her doctors, the nurses, and staff. There's more to that, but the bottom line is the judge has granted that all of this information obtained, all that video again that the officer took, all that stuff that we all saw, it's thrown out. They cannot use it against Alexee. So that is a big blow to the case. A very big blow. I'm trying to figure out if some of the other stuff is all also excluded. I believe it's going to be pretty much all the video, all the statements that were released. But again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a paralegal. So some of that stuff, I'm curious if any of it, any of the statements taken by detectives, even though they were published, if they're all just gone, or if we still have them in the case, and also as far as what the housekeeper found and the nurse in the bathroom. So this is a very, very disappointing development in this case, as this poor child never had a chance with Alexee, and I don't know, guys, I really don't know. I'm going to wait for further updates on it. Again, if anybody understands the legal stuff, please let me know in the comments. They can better explain if this suppression has thrown out everything that we have seen, or if it's limited to everything that was taken as soon as the officers arrived. Because I know for sure that since the doctor told Alexee, she waited until the police arrived, and then they had their body cams on. Okay? She waited till they walked in the room, and that's when she told Alexee that they found a dead baby in the bathroom. So that, all of that conversation is gone. And that whole part, remember that we said, I didn't hear anything crying. Nothing was crying. It's gone. Cannot be used against Alexee. This, again, it's this very, very disappointing. And I hope that the state has some other evidence that can be used against her, because this is not looking good to get justice for this baby. It's really not. And it makes me sick that she may just get away with it, guys. She may get away with it. And last but not least, I posted this photo on my community tab last week. I got some crap for it. Now, I'm not fat shaming Alexee, okay? This is a recent photo of Alexee Trevizo. I simply asked, is this the freshman 15? Or is she pregnant again? That's not fat shaming, okay? If she's eating good in the neighborhood, she's eating those burgers. You remember how her attorney said that she was overweight because she ate a bunch of burgers and all that? If that's what this is, okay. But my biggest question is she pregnant? Is Alexee pregnant? To me, she looks a lot bigger, and she looks a little bloated even, than she ever did when she was pregnant, when she was in her senior year of high school. But again, I put the question out there, okay? If she's eating good, that's her thing, okay? I'm not fat shaming her. I am criminal shaming her, because irregardless if she gets a slap on the wrist because all this video stuff is thrown out due to HIPPA, patient, physician confidentiality crap, if it all gets thrown out, still, in my book, she's a murderer. Okay? She murdered her baby, her child, and she threw it in the garbage. And then she hid it. She didn't cry out, "Oh my gosh, I'm giving birth. I had no idea." And then she still didn't ask for help. She hid it and hoped to God that they wouldn't find out that she delivered a baby in the bathroom and tried to hide it. And then it's all about denial for Alexee. It's a lot of growing up for her to do. So I hope and pray that she is not pregnant, because she's not ready to be a mom, period. I can tell you that for sure. But again, for those that thought I was fat shaming, not doing that. Okay? It is about shaming a criminal. And asking a question. Is she eating good as a freshman? Or is she pregnant? Alright, guys, that's all I've got for this one. Gonna see what else is coming up as we're getting closer to the trial. Whether or not this becomes a lot more going on because of all this suppressed evidence now. But we're entering the summer, and there should be a lot coming out. So those of you that have been asking, keep your eyes and ears peeled, because I'm keeping an eye. All right, I hope you have a great rest of the day. And most of all, stay safe.